what's a lie? If you don't have faith, if you don't feel safe or even give him thanks, go ahead and think about it, I'll give you a minute. No doubt God exists, he's the reason why we livin'. Every now and then we sinning and forgetting, becoming selfish cause your head ain't really ringing. Let's go ahead and appreciate all the things that we have by praying to the best, yeah, Heavenly Dad. It's God's decision, why I still listen. And every day I wake up, I still got my vision, got my senses, got my heart, got my feelings, got my spirit, got a shelter under my ceiling. It'll be a shame not to give my God thanks, but every day I pray I do it the right way. And to start off my day, I glorify his name, and without Christ nothing will survive the flames.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't be alive.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't have my eyes.
If it wasn't for Christ,
Nothing would exist, but it's all thanks to him, he's the reason why we live.
If it wasn't for Christ,
My heart wouldn't beat.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't be complete.
If it wasn't for Christ,
Nothing would exist, but it's all thanks to him, he's the reason why we live. It makes me sad when humanity don't recognize God Christ as the one that was crucified, the one that gave his life. They don't wanna realize his sacrifice. Some say he's nothing but a lie. No, I'm not surprised, but at times I wonder why they don't see him as a reason why we're still alive. From the moment of our birth to our moment of our death, Jesus gave it all to us, to his very last breath. I need to be humble, there's no way I get the credit. If I do, then I regret it, but I'll never forget it. It was God that gave his son to die and give us life, killed on the cross, yeah, for you and I. If it wasn't for Christ, this song wouldn't bump. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be any love. But he's the reason we've been breathing without a price. There wouldn't be life if it weren't for Jesus Christ.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't be alive.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't have my eyes.
If it wasn't for Christ,
Nothing would exist, but it's all thanks to him, he's the reason why we live.
If it wasn't for Christ,
My heart wouldn't beat.
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't be complete.
If it wasn't for Christ,
Nothing would exist, but it's all thanks to him, he's the reason why we live. My Lord, my Savior, he gives us everything. To all of us human beings, don't you get it, can't you see? Yeah, he died for you and me, the reason that we breathe. If it wasn't for my God, I wouldn't be Vic G. Yeah,
If it wasn't for Christ,
I wouldn't be alive.